The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Paranormal Stance, a bi-weekly show where we discuss and debate all topics of the paranormal, anything from hauntings, locations, and even tech. Please join us in chat and feel free to share your stance on the paranormal. And welcome to the Paranormal Stance.
Welcome, everybody.
What is cracking?
What is cracking?
That's better.
Wow, there we are.
Oh, it wouldn't be
Hello,
us.
Shay.
What's up, Shay? It wouldn't be us if we didn't screw up the intro, right?
The very first intro with the very first intro. Yeah. Classic.
That's okay. Finally, a show that I can do where I somewhat know what I'm talking about.
I'm so excited for you.
Me too.
I have to say, I'm extremely excited.
I'm like a little girl right now.
He really is.
I'm wearing a dress.
And his hair and pigtails.
If I had any.
His beard and pigtails.
So, this is kind of the intro to us. So that way our listeners, soon-to-be listeners and followers,
Hello,
and
Matt,
friends and family can know who we are and what we do.
Yes, we're going to give some background on ourselves with the paranormal, what got us interested in it, our history in it, etc., etc. So,
yeah.
Welcome to the Paranormal Stance.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. I'm excited. I'm totally excited.
So, I guess I'll start.
Absolutely.
Or you go
no,
ladies
you go.
first.
No.
Age
This
before
is
beauty.
this is funny guy.
Looks on everything.
No,
All right.
This is your baby.
All right. So I'll start off.
Yes, you will.
So my name is John. I'm a paraholic. I've been investigating the paranormal for going to be 8 years in December. That's about as long as my team has been around. What got me into the paranormal, an ex-wife got me into it because I was heavily into it, and I would watch, Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters and Ghost Brothers. You name it, I would watch it. I'd constantly research it and so on and so forth. So I joined a team out of Middleborough at first just to see what it was all about. Then shortly left that team for reasons I'm not going to mention, and started my own with a guy that I was with on the other team. Anyways, long story short, December 24th, we decided to go live with it. So it first started off as Unexplained Paranormal Research. What's up, Shane? And then name changed back and forth for a little while because of certain things, and we finally decided we were going to settle on Unexplained Paranormal Massachusetts, and then we opened up a Georgia team as well. So we're in North Georgia now, and the Georgia team, I believe, is going to be around just started a year, and the Georgia team is mainly cryptid research, and the Massachusetts team is the spirit or ghost end of it. But spirits and ghosts are more my thing.
Yes, they are more your thing.
Yeah.
Yes, he upon coming down here, it was great that we carried everything on, and that we have the chapter open here because there's a lot to investigate here as well.
We did have a chapter in the United Kingdom at one point.
Awesome.
Yeah, at one point, and that was also short-lived for reasons I won't mention, but it just didn't. The people didn't get along well.
Paradrama.
Yeah, too much.
We all know how
I don't
that
do
goes.
that. As soon as I caught wind of it, I shut it down.
Yeah, we all know how that goes. It's just part of it. It's always been that way, and it probably will be that way into the very distant future. So, but that's awesome. And he is a very good investigator.
I don't know.
He is, in my opinion. You are a very good investigator.
I try. That's all I can
the
do.
way that we work together is awesome. And I'm always impressed.
Well, I mean, the way we work together is good cop, bad cop.
Essentially.
Whether you realize it or not, we do that.
Yeah, essentially we do. I would have to agree with that. And then we also have our daughter who investigates with us as well. So it's awesome. She's like taken on to it really well. And she is, I mean, she impresses people.
Yeah, she's impressed me over the times that we've been out places, and how far she's come along as far as her jumpiness goes. But
yeah, she does really good. She's like, okay, I'm going in by myself. So yeah, she's awesome, and she impresses a lot of the young boys.
Yep,
because they're like, oh my God, you're going to let her do it herself? Yes, we are.
I think the last comment was, she's going down there by herself. Yeah. She's got balls of steel.
Balls of steel. And then where do you think you're going? Where I want to go.
Yeah,
because
right.
my daughter is not going to listen to anybody.
Don't even listen.
Yes, she does. Don't tell her what to do, especially if you're a young man. You're barking up the wrong tree. So
she said what she said.
There you go. So
upon all that other good stuff that I listed about myself, I am also. What's up, Darren? What's up, Fran? What's up, Shane, Shay,
hey,
Matt?
Hey,
what's
Fran.
what's going on in chat?
Everybody's here. Hello, Shane.
So after all that, I got into building equipment, and I like to invent and experiment, and I just like I'm good with a soldering iron, so.
Yes, yeah, he does. He loves to build and experiment, and a lot. So
A lot. So
he has this thing he does when he experiments and builds.
Oh, come on! I'm getting all red faced.
Where he gets twisted and excited. So he cusses a lot and throws things. It's great. You should watch it.
Yeah,
it's something.
before I even finish building it, it ends up in the trash.
Yeah, and then I have to tell him to take it out.
And then I'll take it back out.
It's
and
all
I'll
part of,
and I'll fix it, and you know, it's all part of the process.
That's right. It's all part of the process. So, but it's a great thing. We don't mind. We have a parabolic mic. We have actually two that we use in our cryptid investigating.
Yeah, and those are real easy to make as far as that goes. But my main thing is infrared and ultraviolet lights, and those are because they're easy to build, and I just love doing it. And REM pods.
Yeah, and
those are also easy to build.
All of it has really been, it's all been very essential and great. It's really good. Mm-hmm. And very helpful. So his viewpoints on things and how he investigates, it just works. It works, and it works with the way that I do things. And we agree on so much. And then the things that we don't, it's not that we disagree. We just have different methods of things. Mm. And it works out really well.
So, well, what about you? Tell us about you.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Tell us what you want to tell us.
Well, okay. So most of you guys on here know me from, the cryptid show that we have, Cryptid Files. So
where I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, he does. Some of you may not know
which is on at 9 o'clock, just saying.
My history with the paranormal, which actually is what led me to meet John. What led me to meet John in the first place. So just hang on to your hats a little bit. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. I'll do the Cliff's Notes version, but I've been I've had experiences for a very long time, since I was a very young child, about the age of 4. Essentially it's always been a part of my life. I grew up seeing things. And then in my teenage years, I experienced some things that weren't so good. It carried on, and I've just always it's something that's been in my mind and something that I thought about and researched and read up on and studied for my whole life. I did not start investigating until I was in my early 20s. This was before all the shows on TV, and I had a friend that I would investigate with. So it was great. You know, it was simple. We only had digital camera because that's what came out then. It was just the digital camera, phase. So we had that. Walmart is scary.
Yeah.
So we had that. It was really great. That's, with the experiences I had, that kind of was always a part of it. But then, tragedy did strike. My first husband committed suicide. And so in the house we lived in, things were kind of crazy. They picked up pretty quick after. But there was a certain time when other stuff happened in my life, and something else came into the picture. There's a lot of speculation on why and how and what. And, we think we have some answers at this point. But the bottom line is I had to call on my first paranormal help because I only had what I could describe as something evil. And it was inside of me. So I had to get them to come and see if they could figure out what was happening. And they're wonderful people, and I'm still in contact with them today. And they mean more to me than you could ever imagine. They're just, I can't say enough about them. They did come out, and it resulted in me having to be in contact with a priest.
Father Darren.
Yes.
What's up?
And he's on speed dial. We still are in contact to this day.
Dude, great guy, by the way.
He is great.
Great, awesome dude. I've had the chance to actually sit down and talk to him. He's awesome.
He is awesome. I can't say enough about him either. But it led to, unfortunately, it did lead to an exorcism. And it led to a subsequent exorcism the following year. So, having said that, all of my experiences with the paranormal have not been great. I'm a little more open to things now, but I have to be very careful. Yes. I have to be extremely careful. I started to do podcasts several years, not about 3 or 4 years after I decided that I wanted to talk about this. I did write a book. There was actually a year after, about 6 months after the first exorcism, I was contacted by a show. So they did do an episode. A show, The Haunting, did an episode on my first experience with the exorcism. This is what led me to meet John because
how you doing?
He had his Facebook show at that time.
We were doing Facebook Lives for a while.
And he messaged me one day out of the blue. I did not know him, and he asked me if I would be interested in being on his show. And I was, of course. I was happy to do it. So, go to the Vatican.
Yeah, now he'll have to go to the Vatican because everybody thinks he's the father.
Yeah.
No, not as Darren does.
Yes, not that one, but...
I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Yes,
yeah,
a for real priest.
Yeah, a for
yes.
real priest.
His actual name is Benedict Simpson.
Yes, it is. Yeah, what you think an exorcism, that sort of thing. Like, what exactly that. That's the best way I can put it.
Power of God compels you, yeah.
Yeah, if you look, if anybody in chat has any questions for me, I'll be more than happy to answer them. So, I did John's show actually several times.
At least 2 times, yeah.
And
at least 2.
We just got to be friends because I was at a point where I wanted to talk about this because I wanted people to know. I felt like I needed to take it and do something important with it and to help other people and to get answers. But he was, out of all the people that I spoke to in the paranormal field, and believe me, I talked to a lot of people, a lot of big people, and they all said the same thing. We can fix this. We know what to do. All these things. And it was all just a ploy to, take advantage of the situation. But John was like, hey, look, I don't know, but I'm here. We can talk. Like, I don't want to fix you.
Because I don't know how.
But he didn't even try. He never even tried. He just, and it was weird because when I would have a bad day where I wouldn't feel good, he'd be like, hey, are you okay? And it could be a month since we talked. He'd be like, you all right? And I'm like, no, I'm not.
Well, the thing is when I did my live shows, I tried to keep in touch with all my guests and everything else. So, so that way they didn't just feel used and abused,
And that's what led me to do the show more. But, the bottom line is I eventually got to go up and do a little event up in Massachusetts and got to meet my friend. And we hit it off. And life happens, and here we are.
Yep. I thought that was the short version.
That is the short version. That is the short version. Trust me. That's the short version.
Hey, I'm sorry. You all said?
I'm done.
All right, cool. So my mother, the loving mother that she is, has sent me something, and I figured instead of reading it and then just throwing it away, that I would take advantage of the situation for a show and actually talk about some things, so you can kind of get an idea how I think and how she thinks. So this was an article. I'm not sure where it was taken out of. I don't remember what she said, but it was written by a Jack Biddle. I don't know if some of you may know him. It says, are ghouls real? And it says that depends on current science. Can't prove that they are spirits walking through walls or screaming below floorboards. Spooky sightings, however, have certainly felt real. Humans have been spotting specters for as long as we have been around. And to some degree, we can explain why. These 7 mental and physical factors can account for almost any creepy occurrence, including some famous ones ripe for debunking, and help to make sense of our perpetual urge to sleep with the night light on. So I'm not going to read them all, but we'll just kind of go through some of these, why people think ghosts are real.
Yeah.
Some people just believe that ghosts are 100% real.
Yeah, some do without having had a
without even having
an experience. Yeah.
Some people just think they're 100% legit, real, and that's the way it is. Some people would rather not ask because they don't want to know. Some people are skeptical. Some people, and this one actually says, some people just need company.
Aw, that's kind of sad.
I've never heard that one before. Another one is your brain is unwell.
Yeah, that's true.
Another reason
that is true.
For spirits. This one says getting bad vibrations. I guess that could.
Like EMF?
Yeah. I would assume that
I would think
it would cause some sort of maybe hallucination. Or
of course, we know that can happen. Yeah,
a thought of spirits being around. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I suppose.
Well, you were.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that definitely, I think, yes.
Yeah. And sometimes they say your mind is just playing tricks on itself.
Which, yeah.
Like, they go to talk about on that one, mind is playing tricks on itself. They talk about the sleep paralysis and all that.
Right.
Which some of that can be explained.
It can be explained, and there are scientific studies on it. But I think that there are circumstances where you cannot
get all that laundry done. That's awesome.
Where you man, laundry being done. What is that?
Yo, dude, I can kick ass at laundry.
He is so great at laundry.
So efficient. I don't even wait.
No, and
boom, done.
It's not that I can't do it. I just hate it, and I do it, but I hate it. It's like the bane of my existence because it's never done ever. So, yeah, I think those are good points. Wouldn't, your mind playing tricks on you, that falls into, hallucinations of some sort. Like, we talk about, low light, EMF.
Yeah, because we have a local haunt that we go to, and the outside of the house is nearly complete, but the inside of the house is it's all skeleton right now.
It is.
It's a lovely house, but it's all skeleton, and a lot of, there's no electricity in the house whatsoever, no lights, no nothing. The wires started to be ran, but never finished.
No.
And you got a light, I don't know, probably like 50 yards away that does shine through the moonlight and everything else. And low light will actually cause you to hallucinate.
Well, absolutely.
In a dark room, say you have a candle or something, and you're in a dark, it will cause you to hallucinate. I
think we kind of take that out of the mix, when you start to investigate, because we've done it so much.
Yeah. You tend to forget about that, and already when it happens, you're kind of like, oh yeah, I already know what that is. So you don't even really call it out or say anything about it anymore because we're just so used to the place. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does to me. I'm checking, Fran. Hang on.
It's right there.
There it is. Whoa.
So, so that's one thing. Low light can cause you hallucinations. EMF can cause hallucinations. Obviously, drugs. But Go ahead.
I'm going to have to hand this one over to you.
Okay, so let me read and you talk.
And I think that I think that once you investigate to a certain extent and you become, accustomed to, especially if you're in the same place, you can sort of dispel, any trick of the eye or the mind or anything like that. When we do investigate this place, and Lord knows we've been there a lot, you learn where the shadows are and what it looks like in the corners and all those things. So, but having said that, anybody who's not experienced with anything paranormal and people who are just in a scary place because they think it's scary, like many of the people that we've seen, come up to the Chastain house, it would be extremely easy to convince them of anything.
Oh, yeah.
And they would believe it.
Yes.
We had a group of kids one time who were convinced that they had seen, I'm not even sure. I don't know if maybe a Jersey Devil or a Wendigo, or I don't know what they think they saw, but they were convinced that they saw this thing. And we know good and well they didn't. And they were all playing off of the hysteria that this one girl was creating around them. It was really interesting, actually, to see how much pull she had in this group of kids. And how much whatever she said was gospel. And she just spouted off a few names of local people and said she was kin to them. And they immediately believed everything she said. And she just, went out in the woods like she was chasing spirits. And they swore that they saw this demon thing and were convinced it was a demon. And it was just like, this is all bunk. I mean, you could obviously tell it was bunk. Not to mention, I don't know what they were doing, drug-wise, but they had no clue. And I think all it takes is it's group hypnosis. I wouldn't even say hypnosis. It's just group hysteria.
Yeah.
And people who aren't experienced, who are just going off of like emotion like that.
Yeah.
It would be easy to hallucinate or easy to say, oh my God, he saw it. Then it has to be real. So I saw it too. So, I mean, yeah. Sifting through all that it's extremely important and necessary, because when you do actually see something, it's more than just, okay, I saw that, oh my gosh. Anybody who has experienced it, and I know a lot of you guys have, there's a certain feeling, there's a certain something that happens to you when you see something that's real.
So I'll tell you a little experience I had. I was doing a fundraiser for a local cemetery in Massachusetts before I moved down here, and I remember we were leading the tour group from the back of the cemetery back to the front. We were going to take a break, have a smoke, coffee, whatever it was that they wanted. And on the way back, it's me and the rest of my team up front leading the guests from the back of the cemetery to the front. And I had my flashlight, and it in the range one on it was probably like 50 yards. It wasn't like that great. And no lie, as soon as I picked my flashlight up and I pointed, my investigator behind me says, "John, do you see that?" And it looked like somebody had ran from the cars towards the cemetery to the right. And I was like, all right, you guys, let's split up because they're not supposed to be in here. You know, this is a paid, this goes to the cemetery and to help them and all this other good stuff. And we just broke out like, you know, like in a handful. We just spread out.
Like the Scooby-Doo game.
Yeah, we just spread out in a line, and we combed the whole entire place. We couldn't find it. Whatever it was just a white apparition-looking thing.
When you saw it, did you was there some sort of alarm that went off inside of you?
Well, because you're talking to me. I mean, a logical thinker.
Yes.
And a skeptic first. Mm-hmm. I try to go that route first.
Right.
I'm always that way first. For those people that know me, that's how I am, and I can't break it. I just can't. So the first alarm that went off is somebody was near the cars, and we need to find them and get them out of here. That was the first thought. Okay. And when we went looking for them and couldn't find it.
Matt's spidey senses. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So when we couldn't find this person or thing, we then turned around and looked at each other and sent a couple people back down towards the back of the cemetery to maybe intercept, because you could go to the right and then come back around. Yeah. It would just make a giant loop.
Cut them off.
So we cut them off, and a few stayed up front, a few stayed over on the right.
And nothing.
And all our guests were, you know, where they belong. We had a head count and everything. Nobody was lost, and we couldn't find anything. Even the Middleborough police came down. Mm-hmm. And they drove through the cemetery for us with the spotlight and couldn't find anything.
Awesome.
It was crazy. And then, of course, I was like, all right, what was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, see, many times that I've had experiences and seen things, I get this, and it's like Matt says, it's sort of like a spidey sense. Like, there's this immediate, as soon as you experience it, like, it's almost like a rush of adrenaline or something. Yeah. I can't really explain what it is, but it's that, that kind of shock that you get at first. And it's like, whoa, your brain kind of phases out for a second. Like, it takes a second for things to come back into perspective. At least that's my experience.
Yeah.
And it's more a visual thing or an audible thing if I hear something. Or if I see something, it does that. I'm kind of that way, but not so much seeing things, because I'm, again, always, it was just a shadow, and I always brush it off like that. Thank you, Shay.
But when I hear something, that's when the alarms go off for me.
Okay.
And then I'm like, wait, was that you? Because you hear me all the time.
Right, yeah.
My team will even tell you, was that you? Did you just make a noise?
Yes.
Did you burp? Did you fart? Whatever the case is, just call it out. And nope, wasn't us. Well, then what the hell was it?
Exactly.
I mean, many times we've been in the Chastain house, and you can stand in the hallway and you can feel. It's hard to explain, and maybe some people will agree with me. And it's going to sound crazy coming out of my mouth, but when you go in the Chastain house and she'll call Alice, who is the little girl, I can feel it all, and I don't get goosebumps, but all of a sudden my entire body is just covered with goosebumps, and the hair is standing on end, and I can literally, like a magnet, feel her walk by slowly, and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Oh, I have become very attached to this little girl.
Yeah, Alice has an attachment.
She does. She loves to play with me, and that's the best way I can even describe it. We found her grave last week, which we were trying to do, and I was so happy. Made me feel so happy and then so sad at the same time. But she is, I think, very much there.
Yeah, I think so.
She's not crazy about everybody being there.
And here's something I brought up before too. Now that we're getting on Alice and the Chastains. Mm-hmm. we can go in this house and we can use any piece of equipment that we want. Mainly the flashlights. Allie, you can always tell it when it's Alice because the flashlight will just go berserk for a good 5-10 minutes, and you just gotta we just kind of let it do its thing,
Yep.
and then it'll slow down and we'll start asking the questions and we'll get answer and response, and lights will turn on command, and it's crazy because I don't really believe in it, in the flashlight trick thing, if you want to call it that. I don't believe in it, but when you ask the questions and they respond to different flashlights, it's ridiculous to watch it.
And the funny thing about Alice is when you first go in, you can't be clinical with her.
Mm-mm.
You can't go in and put the flashlight down and say, come and touch the flashlight. We have to play first. And what I do is I say, hey, Alice, come sit down.
Yeah.
Come sit. And I have this real unorthodox way I
Yeah,
investigate.
it's kind of really weird. Like, she's walking into your house and calling your children and sitting down on the floor and playing with them. That's what it's like.
Yeah, I'm very warming, because I connect so much with, I can feel, Mr. Chastain. A lot of times when I walk in the house and I'll say, hello, Mr. Chastain, are you here? I'm coming to see you. And we'll get EVPs that say, hello.
Hello. He always says hello.
Yeah, he always says hello. And if he doesn't say it there, he'll say it on the spirit box or something.
Yeah.
And, but I'll go in and I'll sit down and say, Alice, come sit down, and usually it's just me by myself.
Yeah, at first. That's the way it has to go.
It does.
And it works. So
Does.
I'm not too far from the door.
Yeah.
I'm usually talking to the caretaker. She has a radio. We never really let people go in by themselves, but normally when we go to this place, it's locked down. Nobody's getting in, and we know it for sure.
I'm just weird like that. I like to go in places like initially alone and just get a feel for what's up. And so when I sit in there, I don't ask her questions, and I just say, Alice, come touch the light. Let's play the game, and we'll tap the light. I'll tap it several times, and then she'll tap it, and it'll just blink, and we'll just go back and forth for a good 10 or 15 minutes like that. Because I don't want to just walk in and be like, oh, I'm asking you a question, She's not really big on that. And sometimes when John comes in, she runs away.
Yeah.
Or other people, too.
But getting to that, though, you cannot run the spirit box in the house.
They do not like it.
They have straight up told us, we do not like that. Turn it off. We don't like it. And now, if you turn around, you do the Estes method. We're watching our two, animal investigators go at it right now. They're fighting the cat and the dog.
The cat's standing on his hind legs, and it's great. They're funny.
The Estes method works in the house.
It does.
But you cannot run a spirit box alone with no headphones.
You can no.
Everything
happen. Will just stop.
It'll stop. Instantly stop.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like you almost have to have your paranormal kid gloves on.
You do. With them, you do.
Yeah.
You have to be easy. But people have come in that house for so long and said so many things weren't true.
Yeah.
And claimed all this stuff and said all these names. But when you really start to listen to them and get a feel for what's going on, it's so much different. I walked in there during the day a few weeks ago. And I was using, it's an app.
Yeah, Ghost Light.
Ghost Tube.
Ghost Talker.
Ghost Tube.
Okay, yeah.
And see, I'm not big on apps, but
this
one said my name, and it didn't say, hey, it said Cynthia to me, and in a direct, response. So I'm putting a little bit of, of.
It really hasn't let us down.
It has not, honestly.
It hasn't, because that thing will just sit there at times and not say a word.
Well, a lot of times I do it. I'll run it while he's using the Estes method, and he'll have the headphones on. And I won't even ask questions. Like, I won't even ask, ask the spirits anything. I'll just let it go, and I just listen to what he says. And then I'll have this app running as well. So I do both of these at the same time. And the other day we were there during the day, and we had the kids sit down and play ball back and forth. We were all playing ball, having a good time. And then something said, go outside. And John said...
No, don't. I said, no, wait.
Yeah, you did say wait. And then something said bedroom. And so I walked into the bedroom that John doesn't like. And he was still doing the Estes method. And I walked in the room, and I turned around, and I could see a bed, an old bed, where it was, the whole 9 yards. It was really strange. And I turned around, and there was a man there. I could feel him. And I said, George? I said, hello, George. And immediately John says, doing the Estes method, says, in the other room, hello, or hi, he said. And I said, it's nice to meet you, George. I said, did you know the Chastains? And immediately he says, I reckon.
And that's the terminology down here for, yep, I know them.
So we come to find out upon later research that George was actually the brother of the woman of the house. It was not the brother. It was the nephew of the woman of the house, Mrs. Chastain, Mary Ann Chastain. It was her nephew, who was the son of her brother, her half brother, who also happened to be her slave.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
he was her half brother. He was given to her as a wedding gift on her wedding day. They brought him here. His name was Isom.
Yeah, here's your brother for your wedding gift.
Yeah, right. His name was Isom, and he was so sad when he moved here that they went back and got the love of his life and brought her here. And so they had children on the farm. It was not a plantation, but a farm, the Chastain farm. And Mr. and Mrs. Chastain treated them well. They had a son, and he named his son after his father, who was also Mary Ann's father.
David.
Was it George? It wasn't George. No, it was David.
David was the father.
Was David? Who was George?
George is the son of Isom.
Yeah, well, I think it was her grandfather then.
It
was
might have
either
been the
the father or the
grandfather.
Anyway, so George was
then-
her nephew
Anyways, yeah.
who would come to see her when
We
she
don't
was
have
sick.
the exact.
No. But it was
front of
weird that we got George, and George was there. And that's what I'm saying. The point I'm making is, once you connect with these people, it's easier to get a good response, and then
Yeah.
things start to open up, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do
just
open up.
start to. It's crazy.
I remember when I first went in there for the night, and we first went in there. It was very uneasy feeling, that sense of you're being watched, that kind of thing. So again, I felt it. I picked up my EMF detector and I swept the whole house, knowing that there's no electricity in there. Nothing, just to make sure. The only thing that would go off, and I made sure it would go off as I turned my phone back on and put my phone, close to it, and it beeped. And I'm like, all right, well, this thing's working. And so the first night was kind of like, the first time we went, it was like, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more and more we go, the more and more stuff would start communicating with us.
Yep.
And I actually don't have them pulled up. I showed them on the cryptid files, but
Yes, we did.
it was...
I think it was.
we got more and more EVPs every
Yeah,
time.
the less we started using the
Yeah.
spirit box,
Yep.
the more EVPs we
Yes. Yes.
got. So, but there was one night when I was just like, can we turn it down a little bit?
And here I am trying to be like, I'm beating the S box.
Yes. Oh, he
to
was.
death because I'm like, come on, you can talk to us. Come on,
Like,
come on. Evidently, I was being a little too aggressive that night. And she's
Yeah.
like, just shut it off.
I said, just stop.
Go ahead.
Shut it off because they don't like it.
I'm like, I'm bored. After half an hour, I was
Yes,
bored.
he was. But what did it say on the thing when I said turn it off? And you said, do you like this? And it said no.
Yeah.
Do you want us to turn it off?
do you
And
want-
it said
yeah.
yes. Yeah. So
And then- so we started realizing that we got more bees with honey.
yes.
So we just started doing, parabolics and voice recording,
and
audio
flashlights.
recording, and flashlights. It's not even. They'll even tell us to shut the cameras off.
Yeah, if they don't want us to record.
They don't want us. They don't
They'll-
mind the voice recorder, but they tell us to shut the cameras off.
Yeah, they will. Stop recording.
Yeah, stop recording.
And you don't have a choice but to listen. What do you
Yeah,
do?
well, if you don't listen, then you don't. No activity.
No, then they're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, and it's good that we've been able to go so many times to be able to, really get in depth and kind of figure out what's going on.
So a little side note to this place, though. The problem is a bunch of people go here every single night, every day,
A lot.
and it is private property.
Yes.
Superior Court judge owns it. If you want to trespass on him, go. Good luck.
Darren's back.
Great. But in order to get into this place, number one, you need to know the judge, and you have to get his blessing before you go in there, which we have acquired. And number two, you have to listen to old Ricky.
Yes, you do.
Ricky is the caretaker. He's been there for 14 years, and he's seen some pretty weird stuff. He is an older man, has seen a lot there. So you kind of have to go with his stories. So once you do that, and then you go a couple times, and you go down and you see Ricky and you talk to him, then what had happened is actually able to meet the judge, and he goes, you guys come here whatever time you want. Doesn't matter what time, go ahead, go right in.
Yeah.
So, and so we go down there, 2 to 3 times in a weekend, mainly just to check on Ricky, because he's an old man.
Yeah.
And he lives in a fifth wheel RV.
Yeah.
So we go down there, we hang out with him, we check him, check on him the whole 9 yards, bring him food, water, whatever he needs, we bring it to him, because, he doesn't really get out much.
No, and he's got a heart of gold. He is just such a great person.
So what I'm getting at is you can't just go there and go in the house.
No.
You can't. You can't.
Ricky's part of the experience.
Yes,
he
have.
really
When
is.
you go, you got to listen to Ricky.
You do. It's just part of it. It's part of the allure,
Hey,
and it's wonderful. Hello, Judy. It's all part of it. Plus, you're never going to meet anybody like him. He is unique, a unique soul for sure.
No, hold on. We got the sound effect that we use on the cryptid files.
Yes,
so
we do. Hang on.
This is Ricky.
This is authentic Ricky.
This is authentic Ricky with authentic Lily. I don't know. Did you guys hear that? Yeah, you probably did. It wasn't muted, so that's Ricky.
And Ricky always says all foot.
That's all Ricky's
foot.
All foot and all heck.
Because he doesn't cuss.
Darn burn it. And we heard that a million times
all
too.
All heck, all foot. That's what he says.
All right, Matt. Good luck tonight.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Oh, man. Let us know how it goes. We're excited for you guys.
Yeah.
Yay.
So part of the experience now is we're actually becoming part of the experience down there as well, evidently. Because last night I went down to the house just to see Ricky. I didn't bring any equipment with me, nothing. And Ricky was like, and he can never remember my name, but I love the guy to death. And he always calls me sir. Sir. So, sir.
Sir.
Can you tell these here folks the evidence and the data that you have from the archives that you went to? And he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he just makes it sound so good, He
does, and he calls us certified ghost hunters. We're certified.
We're certified.
Whatever that means.
Maybe mentally certified, but
certifiable.
Certifiable.
Yeah, but he says we're certified. So.
Yeah. So my mother lost audio. She might have to back out and come back in.
Yeah. So Lily and John went last night, and they kind of gave a little impromptu tour themselves.
So my 19-year-old stepdaughter was with me, and she was probably the most jumpiest person I ever knew. Until last night, there was 2 young men, boys, who decided that they may have needed a diaper to finish sitting in the house because they were very afraid of the house. So it was very strange that when Lily went downstairs and to put a picture back, that we don't know how it got there. And when I mean we go there quite a bit, And
every weekend.
Yeah, every weekend, 2 to 3 times a weekend. And when she was going down the stairs, I heard one of them whisper, "She's got balls of steel." And I just kind of laughed. And I mean, am I not wrong in saying that people were getting so nervous they were farting?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, no, legit.
There were toots happening.
Yeah.
For definite.
I mean, I thought we were going to need baby wipes and diapers. I mean, there's 20-year-old men who just got done coon hunting, right?
Like some good old boys.
They
like
had their dogs
hicks
in the car, guns and everything, and they were terrified to go in the house.
Scared.
So I said to him, wait a minute, you're terrified to go into the house with a small little spirit girl where you could experience a 15-foot 800-pound giant person, humanoid-looking thing that slaps you once and you're dead.
Yeah.
So you're afraid of something you can't see, but not afraid of something that you could see.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
So I asked him, I'm like, do you want to hold my hand?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I'm like, she'll hold your hand if you want. I mean, come on. And I said, if anybody's going to be scared, it's going to be her.
Yeah, I was like, look, it's okay. Like, I had to say that. I was like, you're fine. Do you want to turn your light on? And he was like, she said we could turn the light on. And I was like,
as soon as she said you can turn your light on, everybody turned their lights on.
And I was like, guys, please.
And they have these, coon hunting lights.
Yeah.
So it burns out your retina when they turn it on. It's like 3 million lumens.
Yeah.
You melt your eyeballs out.
And so I stood in the closet to get away from all the fucking light.
It was crazy.
We investigate in the dark.
Yeah. When Cindy brought up a good point in the background, that when we go there, we shut all the lights off and just sit there.
In silence.
Yeah.
It's nice.
So we more use our other senses other than our eyes to do this. But
that we do.
Yeah.
They were so afraid, and these were some big boys. Like they were.
Yeah, no.
They were tall and wide.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you afraid of things that like don't even want anything to do with you? Like
it was
they don't even want you here. They're not going to stick around and watch you freak out for nothing. Like.
So I do carry an app, and this is the only place I use, and I don't like apps. I'm gonna full on admit it right now. I don't believe in it. But it seems to work at this house, so that's why I use it. I keep it just for this particular house, and I use one. I've used Ghost. Cindy has Ghost Tube. I use a different one. Let me pull it up to make sure I'm saying it right. It's called Ghost Talker Lite, which is pretty cool, but you got to be careful with it because vibration will set it off. We have experimented with it and put it in the room with us, and all it did was go off.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we take it and put it in a total different room about 20, 30 feet away from us, and it's decent, and it's weird because it kind of makes a little bit of sense at times.
Yeah, it does. It's weird.
So,
some of the stuff you have to discard. Though.
Yeah,
you
can't.
Evil.
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah. Necromancer. Something stupid like that. And it's ridiculous, but yeah. But our style of investigating, I would say, is, like your mother said, is a little unorthodox.
A little bit.
Yeah, I believe I believe more old school than tech. Some tech is okay, like the thermals and the spirit box and stuff like that. That's cool.
Subtle stuff.
Yeah, subtle stuff.
Nothing too crazy.
And I will full on admit, I am not a fan of the SLS camera.
Me neither.
And we will do a show on it, but and I can, I love the SLS. Yeah, the SLS app. I tried that out. It was junk because you need to leave the light on the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I get why, but it was junk.
Yeah.
Other than that, it worked pretty good. It didn't pick up on doorknobs or vacuum cleaners or anything like that.
I watch whenever I'm watching Ghost Adventures and they're using the SLS, I'm like, dude, that's the door frame.
Yeah.
I'm like, buddy, that's not.
Well, my buddy Jason Loop over at Spirit Ropers would say the same thing. It just kept picking up on doors and door frames.
Yeah, you have to have it against like a blank.
Yeah, well, there's a way to do it. We'll do a show on it.
Yeah.
We'll really talk about it. But, the Chastain house is really fun.
I love the Chastain house, and I love seeing crazy Uncle Ricky. He's crazy son of a bitch. He's the best. And he calls...
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
You and I can be friends. Shane says, I'm mostly tech, but not anything like most ghost hunters. Have seen SLS. It's trash and a waste of money. With the sad thing about that is I looked into the SLS because I was just like, I'm going to try doing this myself just to see how much it would cost. And the SLS can be made cheaper if you do it on your own than what they sell it for.
Really?
Yeah. It can be made a lot cheaper. You can be bought a lot cheaper.
You have to use a Connect.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get this for so cheap now.
I can get those for
Yeah.
$5.
Really?
Yeah, I go to the friggin' thrift store. I can buy like, five of
even
them for
like-
$25.
Or even like eBay, like.
Yeah, you
But
can
it's
still
a
get
lot
them
easier,
cheaper.
but it's a lot cheaper then.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, the only thing that's going to cost you is the Windows tablet. But, if you already have the computer, you buy the Kinect for $5, you download the free program, and bam, you're done. You know what I mean?
That's easy.
Yeah.
We should do it. Just to
Hey, John Black. Yeah, you're right. I figured it at about $50. Depends on how fancy you want to get.
yeah, we should do it just to show everybody that it can be done cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, John.
So nice. The whole gang is almost here. That's awesome. I'm glad.
No, I'm so excited.
glad. So we got about 9 to 10 minutes left. Is there anything else we want to discuss, talk
I
about?
would like to the Gansfield experiment.
Okay,
that we
go
did,
ahead. Yeah, why don't you talk
because
about that?
that
real quick?
was interesting.
And again, we can always touch on these again. So.
Yeah. So what I wanted to we wanted to do something different, okay?
Yeah.
And kind of go outside the box a little bit. And so we decided that we were going to go to the Chastain house because we know it pretty well. And we were going to do something called the Gansfield experiment. Now, this experiment has a lot of history to it and goes way back.
Oh,
I won't
yeah.
get the details. But essentially, it's sort of like...
It's sort of like the Estes method, but without the spirit box.
It's like...
and you just use white noise.
what am I trying to think of? Like a deprivation
It is, yes.
situation.
Yeah.
Where basically you're dampening your senses.
Yeah, your eyes and your ears.
And it's basically kind of a third eye sensitivity thing, or if you have any sort of sensitivity or, whatever, it heightens that. So it takes away from everything else in an attempt to heighten that part of things. So, what we decided to do is there has to be a third element. So basically one of us would be listening and watching the other person while that person does it. What you do is you get two ping pong balls. No, one ping pong ball. You cut it in half and you tape it over your eyes. You get a headlamp that has a red light on it and shine it onto the ping pong ball so that you see nothing but red light. And then you put some really good noise canceling headphones on.
Like gaming ones.
Yes, and you filter through that pink or white noise.
Is pink noise.
So, yeah, we'll do pink noise and show you. So, essentially, you get very comfortable.
And that's all you hear.
Yes, and you do it at 30-minute increments. And we were trying to attempt a new way to kind of see what's going on there at the house. And so we did that in 30-minute increments.
Yeah, you got to do it for 30 minutes.
You do. And essentially, I don't know, we recorded it, but I don't remember everything. I mean, it's weird because it's fuzzy now, but I went first, and I do know that I saw a little girl, I saw a doctor, and
Playing with the baby doll or something like that.
Yeah, baby dolls. I described all this stuff. I mean, John was listening to it, but I think he can give you more insight on that part of it because I was doing the actual experiment myself, and he was listening and watching what was going on externally. So what was going on externally?
So when it was kind of weird. Again, I have video of it, and I can show it to you. When there was one point where she started talking about Alice, or the little girl, holding a baby doll, and as soon as she said baby doll, I had noticed I'd seen what was either a shadow or a black mist go across the fireplace, and I had pointed to one of the dolls. And I said, I just seen that right over there, and I was talking to the camera. Of course, the camera wasn't pointed towards it, which unfortunately, it might have been. I don't remember. But I had
you'd
pointed.
be able to tell where you were pointing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as soon as she had said it, I had pointed at one of the dolls, and it was like, I was like, oh my God, how would she have known that? She can't see anything. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you can't hear or see anything. You're just things are popping into your head, and you hear things, and you're just relaying what you hear and what you see. And I know there was a point where, like I said, I saw the doctor, and I saw all these people standing behind him. And oh gosh, it's hard to remember everything I saw, but it was 30 minutes, but it felt like 5.
Yeah. So I tried it, and I was like, the whole house is freaking shaking. I thought she was getting up ready to scare me.
And I sat still the entire time on
and
purpose.
all I could feel was something walking around. So I took the damn things off, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, just the vibrations, and it feels like somebody's walking around me. She's like getting ready to like rip the tape off my beard or something. And I was like, I can't do this. How much longer do I got? And I thought I had like another 20 minutes. She goes, you only got like 4 minutes left. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, you mean I did that for 26 minutes?
It goes by really fast.
Yeah.
And you have to just be careful, I guess, with that, because, mine was a little scary. And the end was a little scary.
She had you could see a lot of the shadows when it was happening. It was really, really, really weird. I wasn't afraid, but that's just me anyways in general.
Yeah.
So, but you could see the shadows. It was kind of cool to see it. I'm like, oh my God, you see that? And I'm talking to the camera. I'm like, oh, look right. And I point right there. You could see like the shadow come off her or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Step away, something. It was really weird.
Because I did say move at one point.
Yeah, you did. So I moved.
But I knew that I was trying to get something else to move away from me. And because I could feel it. And I wanted it to get away.
I think it's pink with purple polka dots.
Ooh.
That's what I'm getting. I'm seeing pink and purple polka dots.
You're psychic.
I am.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's in a man thong. It's a banana hammock. Yeah.
It's too bad Matt's not here.
Yeah, Matt just left.
Oh man. He'd love this.
Yes, he would.
He'd be jealous.
Yes, he would.
Yeah. But it was really interesting. I would not recommend it all the time. I would not recommend it for everybody either, and especially if you're prone to getting scared easy.
And Cheetos, yep.
Yeah, Cheetos too. It's not for everybody.
No. What is your favorite game you like to play? You asking me, or you're asking Nico through EVP?
My favorite game.
Call of Booty. Call of Booty.
Truth or Dare.
They're asking Nico. All right. But I'm a Call of Duty World War II guy.
See,
I like the old stuff.
I'm like Truth or Dare, Yahtzee, spin the bottle, that kind of stuff.
You don't play spin the bottle with me.
I don't have to play spin the bottle with you.
All right. So we got about 2 minutes left. So at 9 o'clock, I'm pretty sure it's 9 o'clock, Shay, right?
Yes.
At 9 o'clock, we've got the Cryptid Files. We'll be on there too. So.
And we tonight are going to be talking about something very interesting.
Gargoyles.
Gargoyles, guys. And believe you me, when John mentioned this and said this is what we should do, I was like, okay, just because I couldn't think of anything.
I mean,
I am very surprised.
Well, here was the thing. The Slenderman, and what was the other guy we just did? Rake.
The Rake.
It's kind of Halloween, so we're trying to figure, let's do something more Halloween-y.
Yes, creepy.
And then I was like, Slenderman, well, obviously it's not real. The Rake is obviously not real. And then I was like, gargoyles, because Dave mentioned it to me, one of my teammates. And I was like, all right. And then she's like, oh my God, look at this.
I think you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised if you join us tonight to learn about gargoyles. Gargoyles,
gargoyles, whatever you would like to call them.
It's very interesting. We got some insights on this. So, and thank you guys for joining us tonight
really
for our
it.
intro, our first session with the Paranormal Stance. We appreciate it, guys.
Alrighty.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We hope you guys have a great week.
And we will see you in about 2 on this one.
And remember, we all want to know your stance on the paranormal.
That's it. All right. Have a good night.
Good night.